Behind the Brand takes an inside look at the people that are making things happen. From up-and-coming entrepreneurs to the big guys, we show you how they go about their business. Meet the innovators with the know-how and vision to succeed. Get behind the brand.
And you know, it's funny, it actually hit me a couple years ago when I was sitting with some of the smartest people up to that point that I've ever met on paper, you know, big boy, big famous people, and they would say things like, but Gary, isn't Facebook the next MySpace? And I understood why they would think that. But then I was like, wow, that's the difference about being really educated on something and not. And so that's why I try to keep my conversations at the dinner table now to this business stuff, the New York Jets, because I know that shit cold, and that's about it, you know? And so I think that there's a bubble. I think there's a bubble of social media experts. I think there's a bubble of conversation that I see people, including people in this room, because I've been watching the tweets for this tonight, retweeting things of people who have a lot of followers, and they think they're saying smart things, and they have no idea what they're talking about. And every time I see somebody retweet somebody who says clown shit, they lose equity with me, not just the person who said it. And that's why I don't put my quote on anybody's books. You know how all these books are out there? You know, maybe one or two of my quotes are out there. You know why? Because I don't know them. I know who they are, but I don't know if they really understand business because I've never really spent enough time with them to get it. And there is a lot of bullshit going on right now that a lot of you are gonna network now and I'm a this and I'm a that. I wanna know, you wanna talk social media? You wanna talk business? You wanna tell me why I should hire you or do business with you? Tell me how much money you made on stuff. Like, tell me what sold. Like, tell me what you did. Like, explain to me. I know you know this stuff. We all can read tech meme. How does it really relate to business? And we're in a dangerous spot right now. And the reason I've taken this turn now, I think it's kind of funny, right? Because I'm like the real rah-rah, we can all do it guy, and now I'm going here and everybody's like, whoa, Gary, why are you getting mean? I'm not getting mean, I'm fighting for all of us. This is a bad time right now. There's a lot of people that are gonna ruin the space. There are companies who are shutting down their social media campaigns because they hired somebody they thought was good because they had 40,000 followers on Twitter, and meanwhile the guy bought them on eBay. Okay? And he walks in, he's Clown City because he read a Chris Brogan blog post or a Solus blog post, or he watched one of my videos and he uses our, listen, and I'm the worst. I'm a walking, soundbite, right? But the reason I've been able to be relevant is that I'm soundbite up here because I got an hour. I've got an hour to tell you what I think and maybe make a connection and maybe motivate or maybe make you think a different way or maybe bring a new thought to your mind or paint a picture with my words like I did in the wine business to bring down something complicated and make it more consumable. But I promise you, when I do real boy business with the real stuff, it's not for an hour. It's for hours upon hours of thinking and understanding and learning that if you go right now and search wine on Twitter, you'll see a promoted tweet that I'm doing. And I'm spending lots of money to learn because I don't want to mistaken for my customer. I'll make the mistake and spend my money first and understand it. The doing. I want to know how much dirt you have under your fingernails. Not how many days you spent by the pool reading 13 business books. And so we're in a dangerous time right now because a lot of people are talking and few understand really what's going on. And guess what? I could be so damn wrong. I could be completely wrong. But the difference is, Carol, is that I'm not such a visionary. It's just I'm willing to do it. How many people here have run promoted tweets using the Twitter ad platform? Raise your hand. 2, and I'm 3, right? That's why I matter. Because when the first second it's available, I'm gonna go learn it. And I'm gonna figure it out. And because I've always had business practice, and because I made $3,000 a weekend selling baseball cards when I was 12, because it's always been about converting, and which is why it's so interesting to pay attention to what I'm talking about, at least for me, because I'm such a sales guy. The fact that I'm talking all this warm and fuzzy stuff, like care and context, it really matters. If they've got me convinced, right, then there's something to this. I'm convinced with all my heart that 20 years from now, the majority of corporate America CEOs are gonna be women because they just have natural better DNA. Thank God I'm somewhat girly. That's why this works for me. Thank God I wanted to go see Bridesmaids more than my wife did. Thank God. Thank God that whenever Amanda Bynes movies are on TV, I'm watching. If I wasn't girly, I'd be struggling. I'm telling you, this stuff is very fascinating, that your social equity is going to be a whole lot of the equation. And I implore you to pay attention to who you associate with, because that's the most interesting thing I think is going on right now. A lot of you are co-signing for some shitty people, and it's hurting you. It's time to vet a little more. Get your filters up, because there's a lot of bullshit going on. And don't just buzzword it and read it, understand it. I would implore every one of you to set up a Shopify or some sort of business account and just try to understand how it converts. Sell something. You know, understand that part, because that's the part that's gonna matter. At the end of the day, everybody's gonna wake up and say, but what does it really mean? Because I walk in right now, I promise you, this is what I'm having the conversation. I walk in this major company, bless you, sir, Frank. I'm walking in and companies are saying, Gary, so glad you're here. We've been waiting for this meeting. And these are people paying us an obnoxious amount of money. Gary, we need 1 million Facebook fans and fast. And I'm like, why? Our major competitor has it. Keeping up with the Joneses. And listen, I'm a big fan of perception is reality. I understand a little bit of that. But people are gonna wake up and understand having 1 million Facebook fans doesn't really mean anything if they're not converting, right? I mean, that you could have listen, Nicki Minaj, how many know who Nicki Minaj is? All right, good job. This one's for you. Nicki Minaj, when we first wrote about her on hiphopatLunch.com, which is a blog that we have in our building, because I'm always trying to learn different things, when she tweeted a shout out to Hip Hop at Lunch, because we wrote about her 2.5 years ago when she was really still just going up in the game, she had 8,000 Twitter followers. You know how many links we got from her one tweet? 7,000. That when Ashton Kutcher gives me shout outs, I don't get 7,000 click-throughs. So it doesn't matter how many you have, it matters how many give a shit. It's why when Crush It came out for me, that was my moment. And AJ knows, if you ever see my brother, you ask him the weeks before Crush It how I was acting. That if I felt I didn't sell hundreds of thousands of that book, that I was wrong. That the 3 years I put in, 4 years I put in by paying forward, doing the thank you economy, if it didn't convert for a $15 book, my thesis was wrong. That I sat every night watching that Amazon rank and looking at the numbers and replying to every negative comment because it mattered so much to me. Because I knew a lot of the big names had been out with books and they didn't sell. And the conversation in the real rooms, in the boardrooms at HarperCollins and Wiley, was that this social media thing is a fad. That none of these guys are real, they can't sell books. And that I knew that if I could, that it would bring validity. And it did, and it mattered. And so that's what I pay attention to. What I implore you to get out of tonight is that innovation is happening at a speed we've never seen before. And that if you're just playing on Facebook and Twitter, you suck. If you don't understand Quora and Tumblr and all the other stuff that's happening every day, that you're making a huge mistake. How many people here are answering at least 10 questions a day on Quora? Don't lie. I will look it up and I will blog the whole world that you lied in my face. How many people have ever answered 10 questions, period, on Quora? Raise your hand. Nice, 7. Very good. Look at Quora if you don't understand it. It has a very interesting chance of becoming the next Wikipedia. It's important. You gotta understand these things. You've gotta use them. How many people here, and don't lie, it's okay, but this is important because I want people to see it. So do it for all of us. How many people here had never heard of Quora before I just said that? Raise your hand. And with a Q. There you go, 0 for 2. 70% of this room, and this is a big boy, big girl room, right? Right? That's why I'm different. And that's what I always will continue to do to be different. I don't care about today. I don't care how cool I am, and I have 1 million Twitter followers almost, and all this and that. I want you guys to be like, wow, he was always good 40 years from now. I don't want your book sale tonight. I want to do business with you guys 35 years from now, 50 years from now. Marathon, which will always keep me away from cheap moves, which I see every single day. Let me make a statement right now that I want you to retweet or pass on every time you see it. Ebooks should not cost $97. Anyway, I just felt like doing that. Because it needs to be done. What the hell is that? There's not one ebook that's being sold right now for $97 that you can't get that content for free online. It doesn't exist. So there's just a lot of dumb shit going on, and I just really hope that more of this conversation becomes about tangible business, and not because I'm saying I know what I'm doing and you don't. I saw some people react to that, like, yeah, don't listen to any social media expert except me. You know what the best part is? I'm gonna be out of VaynerMedia within 12 months. My consulting career is coming to an end. Consulting is like getting punched in the neck. Not interested. Client work sucks shit. I'm out. I did it for one reason. I wanted to understand corporate better. I needed to put some corporate dirt under my nails. And now I do, and now I'll build some shit to sell to them. So, if I convince everybody that all the other social media experts are bad and I'm good, it's not gonna do me much good, because I'm out. And that's breaking news for LinkedIn OC. Let's go to questions. Thank you, guys. Yes, dear.
What keeps you up at night as a business owner?
What keeps me up at night as a business owner from like a stress standpoint? Like, what am I worried about? There's God, I hate Q&A. Because this is where like certain things come out that sound so obnoxious. This is the real answer. There's only one thing that keeps me up at night. One thing in the world, nothing else. The health of my family. Nothing else, nothing else. Business, I got lucky. Listen, I don't think I'm so cool. I know 99.9% of me is DNA, right? Like, I got lucky. Mom and dad had sex at the right moment, I popped out, let's do it, right? Like, I just got lucky. This is all comes natural to me. This is what I've been doing since I was very little. Business is something you wanna hear something really sick? That until I had Misha 2 years ago, that I secretly wanted to lose everything publicly, the whole thing. I wanted there to be an announcement that liquor and the internet has been banned from society because I wanted to rise like the phoenix by selling rocks, I don't know, right? Like, when it comes to business, I'm super cozy. I'm not scared because I'm interested in adjusting. I don't like the status quo. Shit, I rebranded Wine Library TV to Daily Grape to make it harder. You know what I mean? I like that stuff. I like challenges, I like learning. I learn from them. I wanted to do Daily Grape, I wanted to do subscription, I wanted to learn mobile. I changed the brand name that I've just spent the last 5-6 years building, right? And I did it for reasons. I didn't want to have a subscription model tied into my actual wine store. There was reasons, but that was a hard choice, right? I like the challenges of business. It's where I'm best, right? I feel cozy with my skill set. Well, I think it depends on, that's an interesting question. Did all of you hear it? How does somebody who wants to innovate know if their idea is too small? David, I think that's the big problem that's going on right now. One of the biggest things that I like punch all my internet cool kid friends about is they're always like, well, that's not $1 billion idea. Like when I get together with like the really coolest of cool kids, the ones you read about in TechCrunch all the time, the guys who've made it, we sit around and we talk about businesses and things we've invested in and other big things, and everybody's like, well, it's not a big idea. A couple of like early Facebook guys and real famous guys that you would know, they're always hot on this thing. How's that changing the world? Or, that's not $1 billion idea. I'm like, what's wrong with a $50 million idea? Like, when did that become shit? I think it's very difficult to know if it's too small. I think that what you need to know is you need to understand what problem you're solving, understand the market cap of that. There's ways to do it practically. I think that what you need to really do, I think the best businesses are when you really understand what you're doing. To worry about too big or too small can be something that might be a problem to think about. If you inherently feel like you're actually doing something that's gonna accomplish something, there's a lot of value in small victories. There's a lot of value in small victories. And we've gotten into this USA bigger, better, bigger mentality, especially in our tech bubble right now, that is really broken. So if you're passionate about it, and you think you're doing something substantial, and it also depends on what your finish line is. What's your finish line? How much money do you wanna make? What do you wanna do with your spare time? What are you gonna do when you have that money? So the answer to your question is extremely personal, first of all. It doesn't, I have a couple of tech friends who literally wanna make $5 million, cash out, go live in Jamaica and smoke weed on the beach every day for the rest of their lives. I would die if that's what I wanted to do. That makes me throw up on myself. That's like the worst shit I've ever heard. But that's what they want. So we all have different missions and goals. It's very personal, right? But I don't think any idea is too small, especially if you're solving somebody's problem. And I have too many companies pitching me and saying, Gary, you should invest with us. Fred Wilson and Dave McClure are investing, and we're gonna be on TechCrunch, and we're like a mashup of like Foursquare meets Gowalla meets Quora with a Q, and I'm like, I don't give a shit. What problem are you solving? That's what I care about. Those are the companies that do real damage, when you're actually creating something consumers want, or solving a problem, not because you've got a couple buzzwords going on for you. Oh, they want that being bought. They want you to buy both. Guess what? A lot of people are buying both. And until those numbers shift, why are you gonna change? Listen, you know how many of my tech friends bust my balls like, Gary, why are you writing books? I'm like, because people read them. So, it's never the platform, Damien. It's always the message, right? Your world is coming. Do you think I'm gonna write a lot of more books in my life with a publisher? Why? I don't need them to be a partner to print. They're not here tonight. They're not away from their child tonight. I'm doing all the hustling. They didn't write that shit. So I don't need that partner, and yeah, we've already seen Godin, do what he's doing, and of course, I'm not even sold at that way of content. There's so many other ways to go about it. There's so much disruption coming for the middle that it's not even funny. That being said, you guys can be in the middle. Guess what the problem is? It's really weird. It's the way it should have always been. You need to bring value. So, it'll change, right? It's gonna change. I'm completely convinced it will change, but they still sell them. And until they stop selling them, and I think books, the actual hardcover books, are eventually gonna become like collector's items. That if I write a book in 20 years, that I'll print 1,000 hardcovers and they'll be like $1,000 a piece, and they'll have like a commodity. It's gonna go like the other way, Man, I'm pissed that this is ending. I'm in the really interesting zone tonight. But when am I gonna buy the jets? I'm not close, but I feel close. So, I don't care as long as I do it. 35 years? Guys, 35 years from now, I'm 60 years old. You could still ball. Oh, I'm 70, my math is sucky. Shit, 25 years. 70 feels a little like, I don't stress about that. I think that's the wrong way to look at it. I think that I make my decisions based on it. I do. And it'll be fun to accomplish, but, if I don't, I'll be very much okay. Yeah, maybe Misha will. All right, guys, thank you so much for having me. I'm sorry I couldn't answer every question. I appreciate it.